Medical Mysteries ZeiViral. The patient who defied the impossible. Less than 1% of patients with this rare condition survive beyond 6 months. That was the exact diagnosis echoing through the sterile halls of a prestigious hospital, where seasoned doctors faced a case that defied every protocol. Amid beeping monitors and grim reports, the medical team admitted, this was the unimaginable. Everyone had surrendered except the patient and his family. Inside the ICU, silence weighed heavy. Each heartbeat was a fragile declaration of resistance. The rare autoimmune disorder, an enigma baffling specialists, was tearing the body apart at alarming speed. While medical reports predicted an inevitable end, the patient's eyes still held a spark of defiance. It was in this abyss between science and hope that an extraordinary story began. What followed would leave the medical community in shock. Between experimental treatments, sleepless nights, and unwavering family support, the impossible started to unravel. What seemed like an epitaph became the prologue to an unforeseen revolution. The mystery of ordinary symptoms. How can experienced doctors be misled by something that looks like simple fatigue? That was the puzzle tormenting the team. Extreme tiredness, intermittent muscle pain, and brain fog that confused even the most basic diagnoses. Early tests suggested stress or depression, but the truth was far more sinister. Behind this mask of common symptoms hid a silent predator, dismantling the body from within. The rare condition, an autoimmune disease turning the body's defenses against itself, was revealed only after months of investigation. Genetic testing, tissue biopsies, and advanced blood analysis exposed the real enemy. A mutation transforming protective cells into destroyers. The most alarming part, its resemblance to lupus, fibromyalgia, and multiple sclerosis. In fact, 80% of patients spend years under the wrong treatment. It was a biological trap, perfectly designed. But within the chaos of lab results, something extraordinary emerged. A hidden genetic mutation that explained the patient's resistance. This revelation not only cracked the mystery, it opened the door to therapies never tested before. What began as a grim diagnosis transformed into a beacon of scientific hope. The experimental breakthrough, what if a synthetic molecule, created less than a year ago, held the key to reversing the incurable? That was the shocking possibility raised during an emergency meeting. An experimental therapy, still in early trials, promised to recalibrate the immune system. Based on modified monoclonal antibodies, this treatment acted like a molecular guide, shutting down rogue immune cells while sparing healthy ones. Unlike conventional therapies that suppress the entire system, this was microscopic precision surgery. Early results in animals showed 90% effectiveness. But in humans, it was an uncharted leap. Faced with certain death, the patient and family signed the consent form, a battle cry against destiny. The treatment began with fevers and chills, expected yet terrifying. But on day 10, something miraculous. Inflammatory markers dropped 40% overnight. The patient, once bedbound, sat up without assistance. In the family's eyes, a flame long thought extinguished sparked again. Yet the path ahead was a roller coaster of hope and danger, and the worst was still to come. The body is a battlefield. What does it mean when your own body becomes a war zone? For this patient, survival came at a brutal price. 17-hour surgeries to remove necrotic tissue, chemotherapy burning through veins, and radiation that left skin raw and blistered. Side effects were relentless: vomiting, ulcers, bone pain that felt like crushing weights. Every treatment was a pact with the devil, preserving life while the body begged for release. Chemotherapy annihilated cancer cells but also destroyed bone marrow, demanding weekly transfusions. Radiation caused internal burns, making breathing itself an act of courage. In this inferno, a silent war raged in the mind. Can I endure one more day? But warriors never fight alone. Nurses held his hand during the worst nights. Family members whispered stories to ease his fear. And strangers showed up with meals and prayers. In that abyss of suffering, one truth became clear. Healing is not only born of medicine but of love, refusing to surrender. From survival to legacy, after surviving the most aggressive treatments, a new challenge began. Rebuilding life, the body scarred, the mind fractured. Rehabilitation demanded daily battles. Physiotherapy to walk again, occupational therapy to perform basic tasks, and psychological therapy to heal invisible scars. But instead of sinking into despair, the patient transformed survival into purpose. He began visiting hospitals, sharing his journey with newly diagnosed patients. Hope in their eyes became his own medicine. Soon he founded a support association, published a best-selling book, and campaigned for public access to experimental treatments. His story spread like wildfire. Social media amplified his voice, turning medical jargon into human language. Millions listened, yet the most powerful moments happened quietly, in hospital rooms, as he told the suffering, "I've been where you are, and I made it out." This was not just a personal victory. It was the birth of a movement. From a death sentence to a legacy of life, this journey proved that human resilience, daring science, and unconditional support can rewrite fate. Each scar told a story of survival. each tear a tribute to hidden strength. This is not about defeating death, it's about embracing life with an intensity only those who nearly lost it can understand. So, I ask you, what impossible are you ready to overcome?